Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right in to chronicle the absolutely explosive evolution of YouTube. We are going to trace its journey from a tiny, scrappy startup, literally operating above a pizzeria and a Japanese restaurant out in California, all the way to its current status as a global media titan. It's a platform that has fundamentally rewired how humanity consumes video. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this, because the origin story here is wild. How did a platform that now defines global entertainment start out as a failed video dating site? You heard that right. When founders Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawad Karim registered the domain back in February 2005, their original concept was an online dating service. In fact, their very first slogan was literally, "Tune in, hook up." Section 1. Tune in, hook up. The early days. So why exactly didn't that dating angle stick? Well, after struggling to find internet clips of the infamous Janet Jackson Super Bowl halftime show, the founders had a light bulb moment. They realized a simple, universal video sharing platform was completely missing from the web. So they dropped the dating concept entirely. To give you a sense of scale here, just a few months after opening their beta service in April 2005, which, by the way, was right around the same time Jawad Karim uploaded the very first video, Me at the Zoo, the platform was seeing a humble 30,000 viewers a day. Now, at the time, that was super exciting growth for a little angel-funded enterprise working out of a makeshift garage office. But as we all know, it was just a tiny drop in the bucket compared to what was coming. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer contrast. It perfectly captures the explosive scale of YouTube's growth. We go from 30,000 daily viewers in 2005 to a staggering milestone reported in early 2017. 1 billion hours of content being watched every single day. Not just clicks, not just views. 1 billion hours of actual human attention daily. That's enough to boggle the mind. And getting from point A to point B required a massive technological and financial leap. Section 2. Enter the Google era. A $1.65 billion acquisition. By the summer of 2006, the site was delivering 100 million video views a day. But look, with massive growth came massive server costs, not to mention some pretty looming copyright lawsuits. The pressure was on, forcing this historic buyout. Which leads us to this fantastic quote from YouTube's then CEO, Chad Hurley, in August 2006, right around the time they started experimenting with advertising. He said, "We think there are better ways for people to engage with brands than forcing them to watch a commercial before seeing content." It's incredibly ironic, isn't it? Just a couple of years later in 2008, YouTube would introduce those very pre-roll ads we are all intimately familiar with today. But at the time, they were genuinely trying to figure out how to monetize without completely alienating their tight-knit community. And they absolutely had to monetize, because the infrastructure costs were becoming astronomical. Look at this data point. By 2007, it was estimated that YouTube alone consumed as much bandwidth as the entire global internet did in the year 2000. Think about that for a second. This was a site that a mainstream magazine affectionately described as a safe home for piano-playing cats, celeb goof-ups, and the legendary 2008 Rickroll April Fool's prank. Yet, this hub for viral goofs was literally taking over the web's physical infrastructure. And this brilliantly illustrates how YouTube learned to adapt to actual user behavior. For years, you probably remember, they used a 5-star rating system. But in 2010, they scrapped it for the binary like and dislike buttons. Why? Because their data showed that users rarely clicked anything other than a 1 or a 5. It was an early sign of YouTube prioritizing streamlined, frictionless user interfaces to just keep people engaged and spending time on the site. Section 3. Rise of the Creators. Building Empires. This is the pivotal era where YouTube transitioned from just being a repository for random viral clips into a legitimate multi-billion-dollar creator economy. The platform rapidly handed everyday individuals the tools to build and monetize their own empires. In December 2007, the partner program launched, allowing creators to actually earn ad revenue directly from their videos. In 2011, live streaming rolled out, completely changing how creators interacted in real time. And by 2018, channel memberships and merchandise shelves were introduced, giving creators powerful new ways to build loyal, paying communities directly on the platform itself. But the biggest catalyst for the creator era actually happened completely behind the scenes. In 2012, YouTube made a massive algorithmic shift. Previously, the algorithm rewarded raw view count, which, as you might guess, heavily incentivized misleading, low-effort clickbait videos. The 2012 update changed the game entirely. The algorithm stopped rewarding raw clicks and started heavily rewarding viewer retention. In other words, watch time. So why does this matter? What you really should take away from this is that this single algorithmic update fundamentally shaped modern online culture. Because the algorithm now heavily favored longer videos that kept people on the site, it caused a massive surge in long-form content, specifically gaming channels releasing epic Let's Plays. It essentially birthed the modern YouTube star, proving once and for all that individuals could command audiences for hours on end, totally rivaling traditional television. Section 4, Taming the Algorithm, the Moderation Era. As YouTube grew into this absolute behemoth, it had to endlessly refine, trim down, and heavily moderate its gargantuan platform. So the crucial point here is that YouTube has actively, and honestly sometimes controversially, reshaped the user experience to balance the competing needs of creators, advertisers, and regulators. They removed legacy features like video responses due to low engagement. In 2020, they enforced strict COPPA compliance, requiring creators to explicitly label content made for kids. In 2021, they hid public dislike counts to protect creators from targeted harassment campaigns. And most recently, they initiated heavy crackdowns on ad blockers to protect those crucial advertising revenue streams. They're constantly trying to tame the beast they created. And speaking of the sheer power YouTube wields to shape behavior, get a load of this surprising fact. Back in 2009, YouTube engineers sneakily placed a warning on the site telling users that Internet Explorer 6 would soon be unsupported, essentially prompting them to upgrade. At the time, IE6 represented about 18% of the site's traffic. Within months, that traffic dropped by more than half. It's a fascinating little anecdote that really demonstrates the sheer unmatched influence YouTube held, and definitely still holds, over global internet habits. And you better believe that influence translates directly into financial dominance. By 2018, YouTube wasn't just emulating traditional television, it completely eclipsed it. We're talking $15 billion in annual revenue compared to, say, NBC's $7 billion. YouTube wasn't just a piece of the media landscape anymore, it basically was the landscape. Let's move to and see how this builds into the future. YouTube is making bold moves right now that completely blur the line between a tech company and an old-school media conglomerate. For instance, in August 2025, amidst new online safety acts, Google announced trials using machine learning for AI age estimation to police content for minors in the US. And even more staggering, it was announced that YouTube acquired the exclusive global broadcast rights to the 2029 Academy Awards. Think about that. They're literally taking over Hollywood's biggest night, ending a long-term association with traditional broadcast TV. Which leaves us with this final, kind of provocative thought. The original slogan was broadcast yourself. But as YouTube replaces the traditional networks it once looked up to, as it controls the Oscars and uses AI to police viewership, are we still broadcasting ourselves? Or is a highly tuned algorithm actually broadcasting for us, quietly shaping what we see, what we create, and how we understand the world? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the unseen forces that shape the media you consume every single day. See you next time.